the level of an election petition, which is challenged in the court, then what we have now is the evidence before the court, which the court has to deal with. And as I've said earlier on, the petition itself, the court will have to decide whether or not the petition itself discloses any reasonable course of action, because you realize from the petition, the pleading set out by the petitioners, that one, they are challenging the declaration of the results, that the declaration was made without in violation of Article 296 and Article 23, which are basically administrative law reliefs. And so it will be interesting to see what the court will say on Thursday about whether or not that particular election petition discloses a course of action.
Dr. Ajimambudu, your final thoughts?
So my final thoughts are that this has been an interesting journey so far. It's brought up some interesting issues that the court has had to deal with. And right now, all we can do is just wait to see how the court goes about in delivering its judgment on the 4th of December. And I just want to simply urge people to be patient and not try to be preemptive, and just wait until the decision or the judgment is delivered, and a lot more discourse can be had in that regard.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ajimambudu. There, Mr. Nate, what are your final words?
I think Thursday is just 3 days away from today. I think that what we would ask that everybody exercises some restraint. We pray that the judges would have would take into account all the factors, all the evidence before them, and then make a decision that serves the interest of the country.
Thank you very much, lawyer Nate. Simon Nate is also the editor of the Ghana Law Hub, and we're joined via Zoom by Dr. Ajimambudu, who is the head of law centers at Gimpa Faculty of Law School. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the Big Bulletin. Let's now briefly find out what's happening in the world of business, and Philip Abutiati joins me live now in the studio. Hi, Philip.
Hi, Beatrice. In business this evening, the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Ben Boakye, has criticized non-performance of international oil companies after extension of their contracts under the Exploration and Production Law Act 919. Mr. Boakye therefore called for sanctions against oil companies which have not performed after long extensions. He was assessing the 2019 Ghana Petroleum Industry Report during a virtual launch.
Between 2006 and 2019, post-oil discovery, 18 petroleum agreements have been signed. In the late 2018, government started to implement the new EMP Act, and that act, among other things, sought to ensure that there is open licensing, and then also the launch of Ghana's first licensing round happened on the back of the regulation that was actually passed to give effect to the EMP Act bid. We had about 60 applications, 14 pre-qualified candidates, and then we had 3 submitting bids to go through the final process.
Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, Ben Boakye there. Now, Ghana and the UK are set to sign a new bilateral agreement tomorrow, March 2nd, 2021, to boost trade between the two countries. The new agreement will allow the UK to make flexible some imposed trade regulations on Ghana by the UK. This is coming as the UK exits the European Union. Trade Minister-designate Alan Martin disclosed this when he took his turn at the ministerial vetting.
I escalated the negotiations to the level of my counterpart, the Right Honorable Liz Truss, in December, the last week of December. She graciously agreed that as an exception to their principle of continuity, they would accept our position to use the text of the Regional Economic Partnership Agreement as the basis for the new bilateral Ghana-UK agreement, so that once it enters into force, then it would not be difficult to convince ECOWAS to also adopt that. So basically, where we are now, the President has given executive approval for the agreement. We've forwarded the agreement to Parliament. The UK government has signaled that on the 2nd of March, both countries will sign the new Ghana-UK agreement, and then it will enter into force hopefully on the 5th of March. So that's where we are.
Trade Minister designates Alan Shermanton ending the business on the big bulletin this evening. Over to you, Beatrice.
Thank you, Philip Abutiati. Parliament is set to focus on review of standing orders as it reconvenes tomorrow. This will be the 19th year since the House tried to review its standing orders. The first attempt was in 2002. Remember, Parliament shut down after over 150 parliamentary staff and 17 MPs contracted the COVID-19 virus. Parliamentary correspondent Philip Asian joins me in the studio now. Philip, what more can you tell us about what will happen tomorrow?
Thank you very much, Beatrice. So, Parliament will be reconvening tomorrow after that 3-week break as a result of the surge in COVID cases recorded some 3 weeks ago. Now, ahead of their resumption, one of the main things that the House will be concerned about has got to do with reviewing its standing orders. And I must say that it is something that is very critical when it comes to the House operations as well. And the Speaker, Right Honorable Aban has been giving some reasons why this is very important. But before we hear from him as well, I just want to give some background and as well what it means for the new standing orders to come into force. You remember that given the current representation of 50-50 of both the minority and the majority caucus on the committees, it's something that has not really been catered for. So you realize that a lot of things are happening now that the standing orders does not really cater for them. The standing orders really are written principle, rules and regulations that guides the proceedings in the House as well. And then also some of the information that I am getting suggests that some of the reforms that we'll be seeing that there would not be minister designates who will be serving on the appointment committee. So you realize that the convention has been that some of the members of the appointment committee are usually appointed or nominated to be ministers of state. So they serve on the committee to vet others, and then when it's their turn, they excuse themselves, and they come before their own colleagues on the committee to be vetted. So it's like they're vetting their own selves. That is one of the things that the new standing orders is going to take care of. And then also we understand there's going to be more creation, or there's going to be creation of more standing, more committees, more select committees by the House as well. But I have the sound of the Right Honorable Speaker, who has also been espousing the need for the standing orders, which he equates to, let's say, the Christian taking the Bible seriously, the Muslim taking the Quran seriously, and as a parliamentarian, the standing orders is what you also need to be taken seriously. So let's hear from him.
The current standing orders have regulated the proceedings of the House ever since it was developed in 1995 and updated in 2000. However, the expansion in the frontiers of democracy and good governance worldwide, coupled with changing trends in legislative practices and procedures, necessitated a revision of the current orders. Since 2002, the House has made strenuous efforts to review these orders without success.
So we heard from the Speaker, Right Honorable Aban.
Now, Philip, let's come to the vetting committee. We are getting information that 22 out of the 30 ministers of state designate who are vetted have been approved unanimously and 8 pending. Who are those approved and those still pending?
Okay, so rightly said, that's the information we are getting. And so for the 8 that are pending, we understand that 3 would actually might have their fate being determined at the plenary or on the floor of Parliament before the whole House, and 5 of them are pending because the committee is waiting for some clarifications as a result of some answers they gave when they appeared before the committee. But for those who are pending as well, we understand, and of course subject also to confirmation and general development, has got to do with the Minister Designate for Information, Kojo Oponkoma, as well as the Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture, Kweku Usuefia Koto, and then also the minister designate responsible for fisheries as well, Madam Hawakumse, Honorable Hawakumse. So it said that both or varied reasons have been given for each of them, and it said that for that of the Honorable Kojo Ponkuma, it's got to do with the recent contempt case that was instituted against the former Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Aina, as well. And then also for the Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture, it's got to do, according to the minority members on the committee, his demeanor when he appeared before the committee as well. But we also do understand that for some of the minister designates who are also waiting for approval, subject to some clarity given or some information that will further be provided, the minister designate also for roads and highways, the Honorable Kwesi Amwakwata, and also the health minister designate Kweku Ajimameni. Remember that the issue of COVID testing at the Kotoka International Airport is also something the minority is holding onto, and so they want more clarification on that before they approve.
Thank you very much, Parliamentary Correspondent Philip Asiao. Meanwhile, the vetting is still ongoing. The Greater Accra Regional Minister nominee who appeared before the committee, Henry Korte, has attributed the land guard menace in the region to the multiple sales of